In the sweltering heat of Manila's Quiapo district, where the air smelled of grilled squid and diesel fumes, Elena Morales sold fresh mangoes from a small wooden cart every single day for 23 years. She was 47, widowed, and raising two teenage daughters alone. Her hands were rough from years of peeling fruit, and her smile, though tired, still carried the quiet dignity of someone who refused to beg. No one in the crowded streets would have guessed that this unassuming woman, dressed in a simple faded floral blouse and jeans, was about to become one of the richest people in the Philippines. It began on an ordinary Tuesday morning in June. Elena was arranging golden mangoes in neat pyramids when a black luxury SUV with tinted windows stopped across the narrow street. A tall Filipino man in a crisp dark suit stepped out, holding a leather folder. He looked completely out of place among the street vendors and jeepney drivers. He asked several people until someone pointed toward Elena. "Mrs. Elena Morales?" he asked politely. She wiped her hands on her apron and nodded, confused. "My name is Attorney Marco Reyes. I represent the estate of His Highness, Sheikh Khalid bin Rashid Al Maktoum. I need you to come with me immediately. It concerns a matter of great importance." Elena laughed nervously. "Sir, I think you have the wrong person. I don't know any sheikh." The lawyer's expression remained serious. "Ma'am, I assure you, we have the right person. This is not a joke. Please, it will only take a few hours. Your daughters can watch the cart. We will compensate them generously for today." Something in his calm, professional tone made her agree. 30 minutes later, she found herself inside a quiet, air-conditioned conference room on the 42nd floor of a Makati skyscraper, surrounded by 3 lawyers and a notary public. Attorney Reyes opened the folder and slid a thick document across the polished table. "This is the last will and testament of Sheikh Khalid bin Rashid Al Maktoum, who passed away 3 weeks ago in Dubai. In it, he has left you the sum of $100 million US. Elena stared at him. The words refused to register. $100 million, she whispered. "Yes, ma'am, $100 million. But there is one condition." He turned the page and pointed to a single paragraph written in clear English. "The beneficiary, Elena Morales of Manila, Philippines, shall receive the full amount only if she publicly reveals the true identity of her biological father within 60 days of notification. If she fails to do so, or if the revelation proves false, the entire sum shall be donated to various children's hospitals in the Middle East." Elena felt the room tilt. She gripped the edge of the table. "My biological father?" Attorney Reyes nodded gently. "Sheikh Khalid knew your father very well. In fact, according to the will, your father was someone extremely close to him, closer than most people in the royal family realized." Elena's mind raced. She had grown up believing her father was a simple seaman from Cebu who had died when she was 4. Her mother had never spoken much about him. There were no photos, no letters, nothing. "I don't understand," she said, her voice shaking. "How could a Dubai Sheikh know anything about my father?" The lawyer leaned forward. "Because, Mrs. Morales, your biological father was Sheikh Khalid's younger brother, Prince Faisal bin Rashid Al Maktoum." The silence in the room was absolute. Elena laughed once, a short, broken sound, then stopped when she saw the lawyers' faces. They were not joking. Over the next 2 hours, they showed her documents, a 1978 birth certificate from a private hospital in Manila listing the father as Faisal al-Rashid, a name the prince used during his travels, DNA test results that had been secretly conducted years earlier using samples from her mother before she passed away, and several old photographs. In one faded color photo, a handsome young Arab man in his late 20s stood smiling on a beach in Boracay, his arm around a beautiful Filipino woman who looked exactly like Elena's late mother. "That was taken in 1977, Attorney Reyes said softly. Prince Faisal was 28. He was studying international relations in Europe, but frequently visited Southeast Asia. Your mother worked as a receptionist at a hotel in Manila where he stayed. They fell in love. When she became pregnant, he promised to take care of her and the child. But royal politics intervened." Elena listened, barely breathing, as the lawyer continued. Prince Faisal wanted to marry your mother and bring her to Dubai. But the ruling family at that time strictly opposed any marriage outside certain approved circles. When the old sheikh, Khalid and Faisal's father, discovered the relationship, he gave Faisal an ultimatum: end it immediately or be stripped of his titles and inheritance. Faisal was torn. He secretly continued supporting your mother financially for a few years, but the pressure became unbearable. In 1982, he was forced into an arranged marriage with a cousin from another prominent Emirati family. After that, contact with your mother stopped completely. Elena's eyes filled with tears. So, he abandoned us? Not exactly, the lawyer replied. According to Sheikh Khalid's private notes, which I am authorized to share with you, Faisal never stopped thinking about the daughter he left behind. He tried to locate you several times in secret, but his older brother, Sheikh Khalid, always stopped him. Khalid feared that if the truth came out, it would create an international scandal and damage the family's reputation. For decades, the secret remained buried. Sheikh Khalid himself had never married and had no children. As he grew older and battled illness, something changed inside him. In his final months, he decided he could no longer carry the guilt of what his family had done to an innocent woman and child. So he wrote a new will. He left the entire $100 million, money that came from his personal investments, not the royal coffers, directly to Elena. But he added the unusual condition: she must publicly acknowledge who her real father was. It was his way of forcing the royal family to face the truth after his death. He wanted the scandal to be exposed, not hidden anymore. He believed it was the only way to make things right, Attorney Reyes explained. Sheikh Khalid wrote in his personal letter to you, "I cannot change the past, but I can force the present to stop lying." Elena left the meeting in a daze. For the next several days, she barely slept. She told her two daughters everything. They cried together, holding one another in their small rented apartment above a sari-sari store. News of the inheritance leaked quickly. Within a week, Philippine and international media descended on Quiapo. Cameras followed Elena everywhere. Headlines screamed across the world: Dubai Sheikh leaves $100 million fortune to unknown Manila mango vendor. Royal love child discovered after 47 years. Reporters camped outside her daughter's school. Offers for exclusive interviews poured in from every major network. Elena refused them all. She needed time to think. On the 23rd day after the meeting, she made her decision. She called Attorney Reyes and asked him to arrange a press conference in a neutral hotel in Manila. She also requested that representatives from the Dubai royal family be invited to attend, if they wished. On the morning of the press conference, the ballroom was packed. Journalists from CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera, and every major Philippine outlet filled the seats. Cameras flashed nonstop when Elena walked in wearing a simple white dress, her daughters standing proudly beside her. She approached the microphone, her hands trembling but her voice steady. "Good morning. My name is Elena Morales. For 47 years, I believed I was the daughter of an ordinary Filipino seaman. Today, I stand before you to tell the truth." She took a deep breath. "My biological father was Prince Faisal bin Rashid Al Maktoum of Dubai. He and my mother loved each other deeply, but royal tradition and family pressure forced them apart. I was born as a result of that love. I was never acknowledged. My mother raised me alone and never spoke badly of him. She only said he was a good man who could not stay." The room erupted in murmurs. Elena continued, her eyes clear and strong. "3 weeks ago, I learned that Sheikh Khalid bin Rashid Al Maktoum, my father's older brother, left me $100 million in his will. He placed one condition: that I must publicly reveal the identity of my father. I am doing so today, not for the money, but because the truth deserves to be told. No child should grow up not knowing where they come from. No woman should have to carry such a secret alone for her entire life." She looked directly into the cameras. "I do not hate my father. I do not hate the royal family. I only ask for the dignity that every human being deserves, the dignity of knowing their own story." Then she added softly, "If the money comes with this truth, I will accept it. If revealing the truth means I lose the money, I will still accept that. Because some things are more important than wealth. The press conference ended in stunned silence, followed by a storm of questions. Elena answered a few with quiet grace, then left with her daughters. Back in Dubai, the royal family was in chaos. The revelation shattered decades of carefully managed public image. Prince Faisal, now in his late 70s and living quietly in one of the family's lesser palaces, released a short statement through his lawyers. He confirmed the story and expressed deep regret for not being part of his daughter's life. He asked for privacy for Elena and her family. But the damage was done. The old guard within the family was furious. Younger members, however, saw it differently. Some even reached out privately to Elena, expressing support. 48 days after the notification, the lawyers confirmed that Elena had fulfilled the condition of the will. The $100 million was transferred to a trust in her name. She immediately set up the Morales Al-Rashid Foundation, which focused on education for street children in Manila and medical support for single mothers across the Philippines. She kept only enough for her daughter's future: good schools, a modest but comfortable home, and security. The rest went into helping others who lived the same invisible life she once had. 1 year later, Elena stood on the balcony of her new modest home overlooking Manila Bay. The mango cart was gone. In its place, she had opened a small chain of fruit shops that employed dozens of former street vendors, giving them fair wages and dignity. Her eldest daughter, now studying business at university, came to stand beside her. "Mom," she asked gently, "do you ever regret exposing everything? All the attention, the criticism from some people online?" Elena smiled, the same tired but dignified smile she had worn while selling mangoes for 23 years. "No, Anik. For the first time in my life, I feel whole. The money is nice, yes. But the real gift Sheikh Khalid gave me was not the millions. It was the chance to stop living someone else's lie." She looked toward the horizon where the sun was setting over the bay, painting the sky in hues of gold and orange. "Somewhere out there," she whispered, "I hope my father is finally at peace. And I hope my mother knows that her daughter is no longer ashamed of where she came from." In the years that followed, Elena Morales became known not as the woman who inherited a fortune, but as the woman who chose truth over silence, a quiet revolution started by a dying sheikh's conscience and a street vendor's courage. The royal scandal faded from headlines, but the foundation she built continued to change lives, one child, one mother, one family at a time. And in the bustling streets of Quiapo, where Elena once sold mangoes, people still told the story, not of unimaginable wealth, but of a woman who proved that dignity has a price far higher than $100 million.